All right, I got to tell you, we live in a crazy time today. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you all the craziness we've dealt with in the last 3 weeks. It seems surreal. It seems like we're living in one of those dystopian movies. And no matter what you do, whether you're teleworking, whether you own your own business, or whether you work in the service industry, you're always going to be affected. And we all are. I'm stuck at home with my family, and I love them to death, but everything in moderation, right? Well, for those of us in sales, I do a lot of, well, first of all, I do a lot of videos for those of us in sales, and I'm really designed to help your life be easier and to sell more. Well, today's video is going to be totally different. I'm not going to talk about sales, but we're going to talk about something else that I just happen to have a good handle on. And really, my heart is to help you guys to thrive. It's everything that I do with sales is to help you make more money and have more freedom and change the financial trajectory of your life. Well, when you go through a situation like this where a lot of people are just locked in, they're quarantined, social distancing, and just everything just grinds to a halt. I mean, it's just crazy. I can't even, it seems like a dream. It seems like any day now we're going to wake up. It's hard to imagine what to do. But I will tell you this, one of the things that I've learned in my life is that really the best times in your life where you have a chance to really absolutely change the financial trajectory of your life, they're not when things are going well, but they're when things are going really horrible. So I decided to change things up, and I wanted to record like a daily diary for you guys on what I'm doing. And specifically, we're going to talk about investing. Now, I could tell you I am not a professional investor. I'm not licensed. So if you're a lawyer out there, I will tell you that the spiel that we're supposed to give is I am not a registered investment advisor. This is not officially licensed investment advice. It's for entertainment only. All right, we got that over? Good. This is not designed to give you investment advice. I'm not going to tell you stocks to pick. I'm just going to kind of have this be a daily diary. And I want to sit down and kind of walk you through what I've done that in the past has been really, really successful, and some of the fundamentals that I've looked at that happen to work really well for me and taken me from, kind of having to depend on my work salary to being able to make so much money and leverage opportunities that I was able to buy a house off of this the first time. And I live in California, so when we say a house, we're talking about one of the most expensive areas in the country to live. And the idea of having a house, there's a good amount of time I thought I was just never going to own a house. So what I wanted to do is walk you through this opportunity, and it's an opportunity that you have to really make a lot of money. Now, again, I'm going to give you a predicate early on, as I'm not promising you anything. There's no, I'm not going to tell you you're going to triple or quadruple your investment. I am literally making no claim whatsoever to that. But I want to walk you through some fundamentals on what I do to actually take an opportunity right now where you can take certain stocks that I've seen, and when this economy recovers, which it will recover. I mean, this is not a financial crisis like we had in '08, where it was a systematic finance problem, but it's a biological temporary problem where you can make 5, 6, 8, 9, maybe even more times what you're investing. And the idea of these videos, I want to kind of walk you through what I go through every day. So just so you can be along on here and to see some of the opportunities that you have out there. I will say ahead of time, there might be a few of you guys that said, well, listen, we've lost a lot of money in the market, or maybe it's too late to get in. And I will tell you right now, in my opinion, the market's going to go lower. As we're recording this video, the Dow's at around 20,000. But I think it's going to go down to about 15, and it may go down even lower. And I actually heard somebody on one of the business channels echo the 15 number. So there's going to be a chance to get some really amazing companies, at least in my opinion, for just dirt cheap. And so I kind of want to walk you through the companies that I'm looking at, how I'm looking at them, and how I see the opportunity for growth. All right. So again, not official investment advice. I have no license. I don't have a series anything. But what I do have is experience, and I have in every time the economy's gone bad, I've made a ton of money. Most notably, the one that really jump started it for me was in 2000, and I want to say it was 11. I think it was February or March 2011, and it was when the BP oil spill happened, and I had come home. I turned on one of the business channels. It's because it's interesting to me, not because I have any expertise in it necessarily, or at least at the time. And they were marveling at the fact that BP stock in 2 days went from, I think, $62 a share to like 27. And I'm thinking, this is insane. So I actually went on BP's investor relations site and I looked at their financial disclosures. And one of the things that I found was on their financial statement was that they had at the time, $21 billion in cash. I mean, current, meaning they could write a check for $21 billion right now and that check would clear. And so I immediately realized, wow, this company is fine proof. I mean, there's no way they're going to get fined $21 million. So they have this money set aside, and that's not even counting all the other assets they have and investments they have. But then on top of it, it's like they're the United States' #1 ally. So there's no way in the world our country is just going to hammer England. And I thought, wow, I'm getting like a 60 to 65% discount on a stock that has almost zero chance of getting hammered. And they did have other expenses, but they really never got hammered in a punitive way from our government. And so I ended up getting it at 29, tried 27, but I ended up getting it at 29. And a few months later, I sold at 55. And I didn't just like put a little bit of money. I took every penny that I could possibly gather. I mean, every free nickel, dime, and quarter. And I threw it at this stock. And it's the opposite of what, kind of typical investors will tell you. But I made enough money to put a down payment on a house. It was crazy. And so for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been sitting here watching the market go up, and I'm like, well, there's not really a place in the market where I want to put money in because you're buying high. So why would you buy high? Why would you pay for something when its value is highest? You really want to buy something or pay for it when its value is lowest. And having an MBA, I didn't have it at the time, or I just finished at the time. I understood that when you're buying stock, it's really just about setting what they call a cost basis, meaning, I want to set the amount that I paid for it as low as possible, and then I want to sell as high as possible. So when this craziness happened, I mean, it's terrible. People are losing my job. My next door neighbor, Alex, worked for a catering company, which is like the worst thing possible, right? I mean, he works for a company that literally delivers food to groups of people packed in together. And they had to be the first people impacted. And he's having a rough time. And it's hard. Like, I want to cheer him up, but he's just inconsolable right now. And so I was talking to my friend Stephanie about this, and I was like, I really want to put a video out to help people, but I don't want to be like that guy. I didn't want to seem like I'm like taking advantage of people, because that's not really where my heart's at. And so she's like, no, just honestly tell them that you care. I mean, she knows I care. So I really want to make this video to give you an opportunity, no matter where you are. I don't know what job you're in, what industry you're in. You could have been furloughed, laid off, had hours reduced, or maybe it's not impacting you as much. But this is an opportunity that you'll never get again. It's really clear to me that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. And by the way, in our family, we have like 3 words a day we try to practice, and hyperbole is one of the words today. So my wife's going to be really happy about that. But this is literally an opportunity that's never going to happen again. I mean, we had a market that went from 30,000 on the Dow down to 20, but there are stocks and industries that are down 85 to 90%. And these are not fly-by-night stocks. These are companies with billion-dollar and multi-billion-dollar valuations. In other words, they're not going anywhere, and they have massive lobbying groups with the federal government. So they're going to come out of this. But you're able to look at companies that you can get in on for a ridiculously low price. And when this settles, and all of America, I mean, we have this pent-up demand. Nobody likes sitting at home. We're forced to stay here. But when this is over with, you're going to see everybody, I'm telling you, just let loose. I mean, Vegas is a ghost town now, but man, when they open this up, Vegas is going to be booming. And movie theaters are going to be booming, and restaurants are going to be booming, and travel is going to be booming. Maybe the cruise lines may take a little bit longer just because, it's a little bit, it's probably a little bit of a mental scar there. But anyway, it's an opportunity that you'll never get anywhere else. So what I'd like to do today, and I'm going to try to do this every day, but forgive me if I don't get it every single day, is I'm going to walk you through kind of what I do every morning. And I'm recording this and broadcasting this from San Diego, so I'm 3 hours behind the East Coast and the official stock market. So I wake up in the morning, and usually the stock market's been going on for a couple hours. But I want to walk you through a little bit about kind of what I'm looking at and how I'm looking at particular stocks and the successes and failures that I've had and what I've learned along the way. And hopefully you can learn something from this and have some success from it. So one of the things that I quickly realized is I looked at this and I realized, wow, all these stocks are going down, but they're not uniform. So some industries are doing really well and they're actually improving. Their stock price is going up. Some stocks are kind of dead in the middle and they're not really moving all that much. And then some are going down and then some are plummeting. So I started to think of like, all right, with everything happening and schools closing and people staying at home and restaurants being forced to close and all these things where like businesses are shuttering up, who's taking the biggest hit? And when I mean hit, it's not just monetarily, but just the irrational fear involved in it. And I started to think, okay, airlines are one, hotels are one, amusement parks are one, the entire city of Las Vegas is one, cruise ships are one. And I started to look at that, and I went through some market research, and I was trying to figure out, okay, in the last, I don't know, really, since all this started, who have been the biggest losers? Like, what's gone down the most? And I started to see that these were the industries where this hit. So I look at different stocks, and if the numbers seem like they were dropping more than they should, then I would put them on a watch list. And you can see the watch list on my right, and we're going to hit a couple of those today. But I'm really looking at stocks that that they're dropping farther than they should, but companies that are really good. So we're going to start looking at a couple of these right now. And I'll show you some of them which I bought and how I decided to buy them. And we'll go from there. So we're going to look at, we'll start at the bottom here. And this is an app that I have called Robinhood. I just like it because it's free. They started the free stock trading, but also their presentation is really good. So one of the things I looked at was AMC. This is basically the movie chain. Now, I looked at it and I said, okay, for the last 3 months, you can look at it from the last year, 5 years, 3 months, and a year. How are they doing? And so I looked at them for the last, let's say, 3 months. And I picked 3 months because it'll show you pre-coronavirus and the effect that it had on it. So you can see here that overall it was kind of going up and down, typical stock performance. It'll vary a little bit. And I wanted to see if that was representative. And so I went to a year, and it's relatively the same. I mean, the stock price is probably going down a little bit. And over 5 years, it's going down a little bit, but it's still there. But when we looked at a month, we look at 3 months, about right when it started, right? Gosh, mid-February, it was almost $8 a share, and it's now $3. And it's dropped, you can see right here, 61%. And you got to understand, these are AMC theaters. They're not going anywhere. They occupy big, big properties, and they are one of the backbones of the entire movie industry. So they're not going anywhere. Right now, if I bought this, I would be buying it at a 61% discount. And I haven't bought it yet. I'm still looking at it. But it's one of those that, like, as it continues to go down, man, if I could get AMC for, let's say, $2, and yet not long ago it was at $7, I'm going to triple to quadruple my investment. And you're going to see when all this, like, when we recover from this, you're going to see a massive jump in a lot of these stocks. All right, so let's take a look at, and this is my first screencast, so I'm probably going to bumble on some of these. All right, so let's do, so we're going to take a look at the dashboard here. There we go. So let's take a look. We're not going to hit every one of these because, geez, we'd be here for a week. But let's hit some of them that I, kind of have been taking a look at. So look at, in fact, you know what I'm going to do? Just to make things easier. All right, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a look at some of the ones that I actually decided to buy. So I've had some of these before, were there, but one of the first two that I looked at, so we're going to look at some lessons learned today and then some really good successes that I was looking at. Let's do, we're going to look at American Airlines and United. So when this first started, I saw the airline stock drop, and I'm like, all right, well, they're going to be the first hit because you don't want to get on the plane and have that happen. So over the last, this is about when everything started going down, they were at $30 a share, and right now they're at 10. So in the last 3 months, they've gone basically down 2/3. And I decided to get in, where did I decide to get in? I decided to get in at 1966, but it's still down to 10. So I didn't really get the bottom. I'm not trying to get at the bottom, but I realized I'm going to get a discount. And part of it is my brother works for them, so I have a good feel about them. But if you look, the average is about 25 to 30 bucks as far as what their share price is. So, when they go back, I'll make a little bit of money, but not a ton of money on here. I also looked at United. And the same thing, they averaged about, I don't know, $89 to $90, 75. So let's call it 80 bucks. And they're now at 21. So if it recovers and gets to its regular average, I'm going to make 4 times as much money on that if I would buy that today. But again, I bought it at 63, so I'm not going to get as much money as if you bought it today. But one of the things that I looked at is I wanted to figure out, let's see, I was looking at the individual company, and we talked about a market cap. Now, the market cap is basically how much the company is worth based on where their stock is. And right now, it's $7.5 billion. That's what you see right here. So they're not going anywhere. Plus the fact that this airline industry has a tremendous lobbying group. There's no way the airlines are going to go under. The government's not going to let them. And the president already said he's not going to let that happen. So these people are insulated. And if you look in the last 3 weeks, that price has gone down 75%. So I look at that, and that's an insane deal. And I'm still looking at getting into that a little bit, but I have other ones that I am eyeballing. So let's look at some other industries we have here. So let's look at Norwegian Cruise Lines, and we're going to get into Red Robin, and we're going to get into Dave & Buster's. So I've been eyeballing these for a little bit, and then some of them I just got into. So Norwegian Cruise Line, again, you're going to see a precipitous decline here. It's gone down 85%. So if you look in February, it was priced about 55 bucks, and right now it's at $8. And it makes sense. I mean, people are scared to go on cruise ships, and they ended up shutting down the cruise ships for a while. So, but if we look at, go to show more, they have a $2 billion market cap, and that's what the price right now. So it's probably a good $8 to $10 billion before. This cruise ship line is not going anywhere. And you have the ability right now, and again, if you want to be kind of contrarian, to buy a stock that's about 50 to 55 bucks for 8 bucks. But we're going to get into exactly how you buy it a little bit later. Let's look at Red Robin. This one is crazy. This one was the one that really jumped out at me. It's a stock that over 5 years, it's kind of average, maybe a little bit dipped over the last year or two. The last year has been pretty stable. It's about 33 bucks, kind of where it was before. And then when this hit and people stopped going out to eat, it's 6 bucks. It's gone down 77%. I mean, think of it, you're getting almost an 80% discount on stocks like this. So what you want to figure out is like, will these companies go under? That's the big question. I mean, uh, you can get a discount, but if the company goes under, it's worth zero. And right now it's worth about 75 million. It was probably worth a billion or two before. But these places occupy a lot of areas. Now, there is a chance this company goes under, and time will tell. But the chance of even just throwing a little bit of money at this, the chance of a return is crazy. And so I put mine at $6 and I put a limit order in. So we're going to stop right now and we'll talk about that. You can place a number of different, when you place an order for stock, you can basically place what they call a market order, which means just buy it now, whatever the price is at the market. But if you have an idea of like, if you can say, okay, I want to buy it at X price. So right now it's at $6.49. And you said, well, I don't really want to buy it until it hits $6 or $5. Then you can put what's called a limit order, which means you're limiting the conditions for which you order the stock to a given price. And it's good for 90 days. And so anytime it hits a certain price, it'll automatically place that order. So I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to put in an insanely low price. I think I had it right here, and it was like 10 bucks. I said, I'm only going to buy it if it hits 6. So then it hit 6, and I ended up getting that order. And so right now it's gone up a little bit, but if it goes back up to, let's say it's average, let's call it about 33 bucks, I'm basically getting a 5.5 time return on it, which is crazy. I mean, it's just free money they're throwing at you. Let's look at something different. This one is the epitome of social distancing, right? I mean, here's a place, Dave & Buster's, where everybody is tightly gathered and touching everything. It's the epitome of everything that's not going to work in this epidemic or pandemic, whatever the difference is. So over 5 years, it's very, very stable, probably going up a little bit. Over the last year, it's dead even. I mean, that is literally no variability. And if we look at the size of this company, you're looking at about 200 million, but again, it was probably worth a lot more before. But since this point, when it was about $45 to $46 a share in the last 3 months, it's dropped 80%. So people are going to want to get out. As soon as this is over, people are going to want to get out and be social. I mean, we're all social animals, and this self-quarantining and social distancing is just killing a lot of us. You have the ability to basically make a 5 times, if you decided to buy it right now, a 5 times investment if it goes back to where it normally was before, which is a decent shot. But I put a limit order in at 6. So if it goes back up to 45, I'm going to make a 7 times profit on this. So, I mean, I couldn't believe it went to 6. I really put 6 down, and I thought this order was never going to go through. But for a little bit of time, it dipped down. Geez, I didn't even see this before. It dipped down into the 4s. So, but then it goes up. So let's take a look at some other ones today, and I'll show you some of the return that we had just today. Let's go this one's totally different. This one has nothing to do with a retail stock or a place where people go out. We're going to look at the other 4 that I bought recently. And these were all on limit orders, so I just put in a ridiculously low amount. I'm like, I don't think it's ever going to get there. If it does, I'll take it. And I didn't throw a ton of money at these things. Now, Viking Therapeutics, I looked at this, and they had one of the things I noticed, and I saw this on my phone, is when they have analyst ratings, they have basically 12 different ratings, and some people will tell you buying, holding, and selling. This is the first one that I ever saw was 100%. And I thought, that's crazy. So I went into the comments, and I think I went off of this platform, but I went into some different other trading platforms because I wanted to read the analysts, and they all referred it to the CEO of this company is named Brian something or other, and they all referred this company as Brian's ATM. And basically, they're waiting on a toxicology study, and if it comes back positive, everybody's saying the stock is going to explode because they have a drug that's slated to be released that they have a patent for. So I thought, all right, no problem. I'll go ahead and, it's basically sitting, we looked at 5 years. It started here. It's gone up. I don't know what happened here where it got up to 16. And then this is where they were waiting for the study. So it's basically about $8 a share. It's been relatively consistent. And it really didn't get hit too much the um, by the coronavirus. I mean, you can see, the big difference. It dropped 42%. It's probably because it's in people's mutual funds. But I thought, okay, if it gets down to like 375, I'll put an order in. And so, sure enough, I ended up getting the order at 364. And this is kind of a long hold for me. I figure, you know what? If it doesn't go up, I'll probably make a little bit of money. But if it's doing what the analysts said it was going to do, then it's probably going to explode. So just something to look at. The only reason I bring this up to you is I happen to see this 100% buy, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. We don't have anybody contrasting that. So it was pretty interesting on that. All right, Averi. Got to tell you, I've never heard of this. You probably haven't either. What do they do here? They do techno. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is a company. They're not a casino, but they do all the stuff for casinos. So they do all the technology. So I'm guessing that they're probably the video slot tech company. And I'm thinking, well, they're not going to make any money because the casinos are closed. And so I looked at them for 5 years, and they've just been going up and up. Last year, they had a dip here, but for the most part, the line is kind of right there, about the same, if not going up a little bit. And then right when the coronavirus hit, they were at about $14 to $15 a share. And they're at $2 a share right now, which means that's a 7 to 7.5 times return once it goes back up to right here. And so I thought, all right, I'm just going to put an insane price. I think it was about right here is $4. I said, okay, I'll do $2.25. I don't think it's ever going to get that low. And sure enough, it did. Got down to 170. So for right now, I'm a little bit on the hole on this one, but that's okay. Once the casinos open, you're going to see this jump up again. So again, the other thing I wanted to look at is, will this company go under, if things extend? And so I thought, number one, let's take a look at the show more. They have a market cap of 219 million, but then if they go up 7 times, that means they had a market cap over $1 billion. But they have casinos as clients, and casinos are right now lobbying the White House to get a bailout. I mean, they have a massive lobbying effort, so they're not going anywhere. Vegas isn't going anywhere. These people have contracts with the casinos. Once the casinos open, these are like the remora on a shark. They're going to immediately tail the casinos and go way up. All right, Eldorado Resorts, again, they run resorts, so they got hit as soon as coronavirus hit. 5 years, look at this. This stock's been going up, total upward trajectory. The last year, still going up, but not, doesn't seem as much. And then right here when Corona hit, they were at about $70 a share. You can get it right now for $7.80. That's almost 10 times, like you can get it for a 10% of its normal price. So again, I put a limit order in when it was about 15. I thought, I'll just go like 8.25. It's never going to get that low. If it does, I'll take it. And sure enough, I got it. And so right now, it's a little bit more than it's a little bit below where I paid, but I don't care. As soon as people are green lighted to go out, they are going to storm these resorts because they need to get out of their house. They need to get away from their families, and they just need some elbow room and to be around people. So this one right now, if it goes back anywhere near where it is, it's going to be, it's like a 9 times return. It's crazy. So I didn't put that much money into it. I only put about $500, but $500 times 9, that's going to be almost $5,000 if and when it gets back up to there. And even if it gets back, let's say 3/4 of the way, that's still a massive return. Cinemark, they operate movie theaters, so a no-brainer, right? So 5 years, they're pretty much dead even. If you look, the trend is like pretty darn flat. And over the last year, it's maybe down a tad, but look at this. Just this drop right here tells you everything you need to know. Last 3 months, right when the Corona hit, was about $32 a share. Right now, you can get it for $10, so about a third of what you normally get. And again, movie theaters aren't going to go out of business, and we can look right now. It has an $815 market or $815 million market cap, which means it was probably 2 to 3 billion before. They're not going out of business. I got in at $6, and it's already back to 11. So, and I don't care about the 11. It's going to get back. Movie theaters, people are going to want to get out and go see movies again. It's going to be a 5-time return. I mean, it's a no-brainer. All right, so those are the stocks that I'm in right now. Let's take a look at, we're going to skip cryptocurrencies. But anyway, one of the things that I look at every day, and by the way, this is a Robinhood app. It's an awesome app. You can get it on your phone. It's simple to use. Is I basically have these set, instead of looking at the dollar amount they go up or down, I look at percentage. So I don't really care about the green ones. If they're green, it means they go up, which means the stock's more expensive for me, and I don't like that. But if the stock goes down, I want to see what the biggest percent losers are for that period of time. And so, you look at this, and this one's, 1%, 6%, 6%, and I'll just peruse through here. 12% on a given day, 3.66, 12%, and 10%. And unless it's a big number, I'm not really looking at it. So today was a good day. The stocks that I was looking at, pretty much most of them went up. This went up 20%, 27%, 25%, 32%. But there's days when I open this up and they're down like 35 to 40%. And that's the only time that I'll look at that stock and try to figure out if people are irrationally selling it too low. So today I had a good day. The stocks that I had, I made $1,500 today. And it doesn't mean I'm going to make it. It could go back down tomorrow. But it's one of those things when you buy stocks so low, it's an opportunity to make a ton of money. So theoretically, let's say you had an average of the ones I had a potential, like the average was 1/6 of the price it normally goes for. If I put in, let's say $10,000, and I still have money on the sidelines, if I put in $10,000, it means I can earn 50 grand off of this. So if you guys are thinking about the ability to take care of your family, if this crazy crisis goes on, to have more padding for your family, and then if you're looking to buy a home or buy a car or do something for the first time, this is an opportunity to do that. So enough for today. We've covered a lot. I'll give you my diaries for tomorrow and kind of walk you through what I did and how I looked at it. And again, I will say this ahead of time. I am not a licensed financial advisor. This is not official advice. I'm not telling you to pick one stock or another. And I guess I have to tell you it's for entertainment purposes only. Okay, we got that out of the way. But I will tell you this. This is something I'm really, really good at. And I want to help you, make your mind up on your own stocks. Take a look at what you want to get. But I'm just giving you an idea of what we're looking at, what goes through my mind, what made me decide to pick the stocks that I want. And some of them, they're doing really well so far. Some of them, they're not. But long term, we're going to see this number right here just absolutely shoot up whenever this corona thing abates. So with that said, see you tomorrow.